This video is for the jury members in my case. This is for the Dear Missouri jury video series, point number 1. In no particular order, these are going to be points that cast more than reasonable doubt onto this case. When I was charged with animal abuse, I found out some few weeks after the incident happened. When I found out that animal abuse charges were going to be filed against me, criminal charges, I called the Wentzville Police Department in hopes of speaking to the chief. I was only allowed to speak to second command. I also called the St. Charles County Prosecutor's Office in hopes of speaking to the most senior person there. I don't know who I spoke to. I spoke to a woman, and I believe that woman was Carrie Sulivan. If it was or wasn't, doesn't really matter. I am letting you know, jury members, that I believe the major reason why these charges blew up into an arrest instead of a ticket were because of these phone calls that I made to the St. Charles County Prosecutor's Office and the Wentzville Police Department. During these phone calls, I told them, these are the facts of the case. That dog attacked me viciously. I shot it in self-defense in my front yard. Are you seriously going to charge me in this country with animal abuse for defending my life and limb from being attacked by this German Shepherd type dog? When they said yes, I was filled with a flush of anger because I was filled with a flush of fear. And to the prosecutor's office woman, I said, well then fuck you. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, bitch. Like, just like that, 3 times in that type of tone, dismissive, exclamatory, like, you know, I lost my cool. It happened. It's not what's best. It's not to your advantage. You're just kind of losing your cool. It's, you know, but hey, I knew I was going to be legally sexually assaulted. That's exactly what happened. That story's coming later. So again, with the prosecutor, I was talking to some lieutenant at the Wentzville Police Department. Are you seriously gonna, once we get to it, are you seriously going to prosecute this charge of shooting this dog that viciously attacked me in my front yard? Yes. Then fuck you, is what I said to that police lieutenant or whatever. Fuck you. And he didn't say anything, so then I hung up. They're gonna have these calls recorded. Did I lose my cool and say fuck you to these 2 people? Yeah. That's all I'm embarrassed about, though. I didn't go off and be like cussing them out, calling them swear words, blah, 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 blah. Even though I had completely lost it, that was the extent of me, quote unquote, losing it. Okay? When you do that to a cop and a prosecutor, and the dog's owner is a lifelong acquaintance / friend of the police chief or of the police department and members of the police, and they don't want to be sued for having their dog attack me in my front yard, and they don't want to have to face any charges of breaking leash laws, of having a crazy loose dog attacking people around, then this is what's going to happen. You're not just going to be charged. You're not going to be given a ticket. You're going to be given an arrest warrant. And during that arrest warrant, they are going to force you to be naked in front of jail guards, men and women, through video, if not direct eyeballs. They're going to emasculate you. They're going to keep you for as long as they can, which is just under 3 days. They're going to make it as miserable for you as possible. They're going to turn on the AC full blast and make it like 50, 60 degrees in there to where you're damn near getting hypothermia. You certainly can't sleep for more than 15 minutes. They're taking away all your bed cushions, your pillow, your toilet paper, not letting you write anything, communicate with a lawyer, keeping you in isolation, not letting you have any exercise, freezing you, basically. I'll go into those details later. But that's what they did. Oh, we'll teach you. Fuck me. Watch this. I'm going to generate paperwork that's going to cause you to be arrested and have to be naked and all of this in front of government. We're going to teach you a lesson. That's what happened, right? Normally, if you shoot a dog in your front yard And you call the police, right? And the neighbor's not saying, oh, you killed my dog, you killed my dog, you killed my dog. He even says, sir, I didn't say this was your fault. What that is a civil matter. You say this is a civil matter. I have evidence he shot this dog in his front yard. There are leash laws. We have no evidence whatsoever because I'm not going to get the ring camera footage that does exist. I'm not going to get any ring camera footage, so I'm just going to say it's a civil matter. One of you can sue the other if you have a problem, but there's no crime here. Your dog was on his property. That's not allowed. It's a big German Shepherd and he shot it. Okay, your story is that you had a ball in its mouth and now he's guilty of animal abuse because the attacking dog in his yard carried a ball in its mouth? Okay. They're gonna give you an arrest warrant when you call them and say, fuck you. Okay? When I did that, I knew what I was doing. I knew it could happen. I'm well aware. I've been doing this for 10 years. This is not my first rodeo, dear Missouri Jerry members. Like, I've been dealing with American courtrooms. And I'm undefeated, by the way, for 10 years. Okay. So now here we are looking at a screen on CaseNet that starts back when this started. October 16th, 2024. Okay. Carrie M. Sulivan was a prosecutor who was on the case only long enough to get this arrest warrant created and enforced. Okay? The same for this Robert Cornejo, this judge, only on the case long enough to sign the document for the arrest warrant before being removed from the case. Okay? So I wasn't even in jail, even though this was written out on October 21st for the warrant issued. I wasn't in jail until late January. By the way, it's my 1-year anniversary. This time last year, I was in jail. 1/27, January 27, they say, oh, you know what? Murphy's on the case. This whole document is to put Brennan Murphy on the case. That's all it does. That's all it does. It takes Carrie Sulivan off the case and puts Brennan Murphy on the case. Okay? That is right before I'm arrested. 1/27/2025. Okay? They have an order for fingerprinting in here. A bond set. No 10% authorized. I can't just pay a bondsman $250 and get out of jail. I have to come up with the entire $2,500. How many people have $2,500 cash laying around? I can tell you it's less than 50%, because 50% of this country is living paycheck to paycheck. Some estimates are as high as 70%. So when a judge and a prosecutor put on no 10% authorized and don't give a reason, they're saying we hope this person has to stay in prison because they don't have $2,500 to get out. Is that cruel and unusual punishment? Is that excessive fines? And what's the crime here? The guy shot a dog in his front yard. Okay. So this warrant is issued in late October. I find out about it in late December. They don't communicate to me whatsoever that I have a warrant. Okay, I just got on the phone and said, fuck you, click. Okay. Thursday night, middle of December, January 25th. It's... oh, crap. Right here. Oh, gosh, Joe, get your crap together, would you? Sorry. It's not even in here. I have the arrest warrant and those records. It's just not in here. It is here. It's all here on the February 3rd when I got out. Okay, here's the warrant. Here's the Judge Cornejo. And here's the no 10%, okay, on the 31st. I'm in jail on the 31st. They set the bond at $2,500. 10% is not authorized, according to Cornejo, who is, like Carrie Sulivan, immediately pulled off the case. I'm trying to keep all of this straight, my God. The prosecutor and the judge who signed this arrest warrant, who you're going to find out right now are completely illegal, are on the case long enough to do that and then immediately removed off the case. Okay? They created the arrest warrant based on the incident alone of their police coming to this location after I shot the dog and after I had called the police. Now, we can look into the law as far as what. This is from Missouri Courts and Government website. These are all their statutes. Rule 21, 0.07, 0.08, 0.09. Here's the part that talks about when they have to give you just a ticket and the conditions that must be necessary for them to issue a warrant instead of the ticket and force you to take all your clothes off and go to jail. Right? Here's the guidance. Number one, look, a prosecutor may file it if they have information and belief that the offense was committed. If he believes that I committed animal abuse by shooting that dog, then he can file these, okay? He has to believe it. And then the information shall be supported by a statement of probable cause, as prescribed in 2104, which is right here, which we're about to get to. So when I go back to the probable cause statement, oh, that's just my music, not the probable cause statement. I go to the arrest time. Here's the probable cause statement by Carrie M. Sulivan. Okay, let's click on everything. This is additional information. This just says, anything new? No, it just says we're charging with count 1 animal abuse. Oh no, this is important. This is the message from Carrie Sulivan that tries to convince the judge, yes, give me this arrest warrant. Not just a ticket, give him the arrest warrant. And so this is what she says. They charged me of animal abuse for shooting this dog, and then this one paragraph. The facts that form the basis for this information and belief are contained in the attachment statement of facts made a part hereof and submitted as a basis upon this record. Upon this court may find the existence of probable cause. Prosecuting attorney prays that a warrant be issued as provided by law. Really? As provided by law? Oh, okay, so let's go to the law. As provided by law, when warrants are issued as provided by law. Let's look that up. Here, this is by law, when they can and when they can't. Okay, let's go to the next one. 03, misdemeanors. When you can get a summons or a warrant. When a warrant is issued. Okay, when information is filed, blah, blah, they've got a charge, yeah. Summons shall be issued unless the court finds a summons. A summons shall be issued. A ticket. Not an arrest warrant for a misdemeanor. A ticket shall be issued unless the court finds that sufficient facts have been stated to show probable cause that a misdemeanor has been committed and there are reasonable grounds to believe the two following. 1, the defendant will not appear upon the summons. If you go into the police report, nowhere does it say that. Here's the probable cause statement filed. Nowhere in here does it say that. In fact, it says, I have reasonable grounds to believe the defendant will not appear upon the summons or is a danger to the crime victim, the community, or any other person because NA, not applicable. They don't have anything to say on it. They have no reason to believe that I won't show up or that I'm a danger to anyone else. Not only did they issue a no contact order against me for that entire family where the dog lived, but obviously they issued the warrant instead of the summons, the ticket. Nowhere in this probable cause statement does it say I won't show up or I'm a danger. In fact, the 911 call says I'm not mad at them, don't charge them, I'm not going to sue them. And despite those facts, and despite the fact that Missouri state law statutes say that in order to have a warrant issued instead of a summons, you have to have either of these. The defendant will not appear at the summons or they pose a danger. The police report directly says I am not either of those, and yet they filed the warrant anyway and had me arrested anyway. If the court so finds, a warrant of arrest for the defendant may be issued. Neither of those were found. Not in their paperwork, they're not found. And yet it was issued anyway. This is breaking the law. Quote unquote law being these statutes in this context. All this stuff is if a warrant is issued, if a warrant is issued. Nothing else about this must be in effect for a warrant to be issued. Here's 21.04, how a statement of probable cause is supposed to be written. And section D, is it supposed to have whether or not they're believed to be opposing a danger to the crime victim or won't appear in court. The police report doesn't say that. And yet it's issued anyway. So once it's issued against the law, Carrie Sulivan and the judge get taken off the case. I'm not even aware at the time that this is going on. Let's go forward to January. If you go to CaseNet in January, you're going to see motions here by me, motions here filed by me. In one of these motions, you're going to find me stating, look, I have lost my job from having to go to all of these court hearings. It might even be in August. Sorry, just give me a second. Just give me a second. Sometimes I just need to just reset before continuing. At the time when I'm arrested, I don't know all of this is going on. I don't know that there's another judge who signed it and then Carrie Sulivan who got taken off of it. And now Murphy and the first judge who I had recused were not part of it. Meaning, I knew that it was totally against procedure to just issue me an arrest warrant, have me stripped naked and legally sexually assaulted, as opposed to give me a ticket over these conditions. I just didn't investigate it or have a lawyer looking into it and have this statute in front of me. 21.04, 21.03.02. Or I would have brought this up long ago. They know that the arrest warrant they issued was illegal. In July or August, I filed the motion when they finally heard it. Of course, this is part of the motions that they just blanket denied. Oh, jeez. I said in there, I need my $2,500 back. This arrest was unjust. There's exculpatory evidence that exists. You won't obey the Missouri Sunshine Law and give me that exculpatory evidence. This arrest is illegitimate. It should have never happened. I need my $2,500 back, especially if you want me to get some assistance of counsel. They denied all of my motions, and when I asked for upon what grounds are you denying this motion, they would not give me grounds or reason for denying the motion. They would not let me respond to their decision. Listen to the recordings on the channel. I posted the links. That's how Judge Sandcork got removed from this case for corruption. Me posting the hearings that I had to pay for, $25 each. I'm sorry, this case goes back to October of 2024. I'm a little bit scatterbrained and doing my best. The point is, this one point of this video is, the arrest in late January, early February was illegitimate. How did I get arrested? An ambush. I'm sorry, I got off the topic earlier when I started to explain the arrest. In mid-December, on a Thursday night at 10:30 at night, they came into my house and were knocking on my bedroom door, seeing if I was home so they could arrest me. I didn't know why they were there at the time. I didn't even know I had an arrest warrant out. They didn't communicate this to me. I stayed silent, and they didn't break down the door, and they went away. They were saying things like, oh, hey, buddy, Joe, we just want to talk to you, buddy, knowing they had an arrest warrant. I've seen the paperwork since. It was an arrest warrant. So they tried to arrest me like a week before Christmas, right, with a $2,500 bail getting ready to happen with no 10%. I don't even know this is going down. I'm driving in late January coming home from work. The accusers live directly across the street from my house. They know when I come and when I go. I come home approximately the same time in the afternoon from work. I come home, there's only 2 routes to come. I come home on the one route. There's a cop sitting there waiting for me in the parking lot of some government building next to an elementary school. I see him and know immediately, oh my God, what? He flips on his lights before I'm even able to pass him. This was an ambush. I'd love to hear the radio traffic from before this. He is not just sitting there on the side of this road. I know because I drive through it all the time. For a year and a half I've driven by this road, coming and leaving from home. There are no cops sitting there waiting to give out tickets. There's an elementary school and a junior high and a high school. They don't want traffic tickets. There's no room to pull any cars over. This is a major bus zone. There's no room to pull cars over. He knew I was coming. It was an ambush arrest. But even if he wasn't, okay? They pulled me over for not having a front license plate on my car. That's it. Pulled me over for that. Looked it up. Arrested me, knowing they had that arrest warrant on. Took me to jail right then and there. It happened to be late January. This is where I was sexually assaulted, frozen, no heat allowed in the system. This is January in St. Louis. I have one sheer fabric of cloth for clothing, top and bottom. I won't even get into it. This arrest was illegal. They knew it was illegal from the jump. They did it anyway. They then got rid of the judge and the prosecutor who filed it before I was even released from jail. And they gave me a new judge and a new prosecutor whose hands were completely clean of that act. It was a punishment for me saying to the prosecutor and the cop, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you on the phone. Where's my $2,500? Where's my gun they stole? Where's my apology? Where's the dismissed charges? Where is the apology to the jury for calling them to a case and wasting their time on a case that should have never been taken to this level in the first place? This is just part one. This is just the first thing they've done that's completely, blatantly abuses of their power, blatantly illegal, that they did and they got away with it anyway, and it stands. They denied my motion to get the $2,500 back. I didn't find out about this law that they have. You can't even arrest somebody if you have no evidence that they are going to, if they're not going to run from it, if they're going to attend, and if they pose no harm or threat, whatever, to the victims that you're calling victims, right? And yet, this just continues. And that's just chapter 1. So I got to try to make all these videos as short as possible. I'm going to end this one here. I could just go on and on, but I can't. I'm trying to make them digestible in the hopes that jury members will listen, take the time to listen to this in order to discover that all of these charges against me are not only completely false, they're filed fraudulently, that I'm suing after all of this. I'm suing the shit out of them for this. Dear Missouri jury, would you? If you just look at the evidence that's on CaseNet alone, you don't even consider my opinions, you just look at CaseNet alone. And you're like, well, he filed this and he filed that. Was there any response about this? Or was there any response about that? Because it looks like you guys are just steamrolling him. You didn't respond to this, you didn't respond to that. And that's just case file. That's not even hearing the hearings themselves in CaseNet. I write a motion that says, here's my YouTube channel. Click on this. Go to here. Here's the recordings of their last 3 hearings. Any jury that would listen to the last 3 recordings that I've had from what? July, August, September, whatever it was? All you're going to hear is a judge saying, I'm going to say what I want to say. You're going to shut the fuck up, or you're going to give me an answer that falls within acceptable answers for me. You're not going to be able to say anything that you want to bring up to defend yourself. That's how this goes. Shut up. Or it's jail. You want to go to jail? That's all they're going to hear. That and a bunch of, nope, deny motion, deny motion, deny motion, no grounds given, no grounds given, no grounds given. It's so blatantly corrupt and one-sided that what point, what good does it do me to even try and talk as if I'm trying to convince a neutral third party? It's blatantly obvious by their lack of responses to what I bring up, and for their lack of allowing me to even bring it up any in the first place by not allowing me to speak. All right, you know what? I'm gonna render this and I'm gonna publish this, and then I'm gonna start work on the recording of that hearing itself and getting the transcript and making it this nice pretty video that you can watch and read, because even if the recording is poor and you can't clearly hear what's being said, the subtitles will tell you everything. And what they're going to tell you, jury, dear Missouri jury, is that if you go to this filing for December 18th, 2025, I want you to read this and have this in mind when you listen to the hearing I'm about to upload. I am not afraid of a jury finding me guilty because I presume that they're going to. I've dealt with my fear of your jail for a year. You're either going to 100% be a part of the government pretending to be a fair and impartial jury member, or you're going to be pissed at the government for even dragging jury members here in the first place. You're going to be dismissing all charges like not guilty faster than you can even say not guilty. This is an open and shut case on the merit of the facts alone and their rules. They've broken their own rules. I haven't even talked about this challenge to jurisdiction that I've been bringing up. That's outside completely of the case details. There are 2 facets of this case, just like there are 2 hemispheres of our brains. One is what I just went over. Partially, the actual facts of the case. The other one is the challenge to jurisdiction. I'm going to be making videos explaining both, and I'm going to try to do so as concisely as possible so that you'll listen. Because the fear is, of course, you won't. Just admit it, why not? All right? If they get away with this for me, don't complain if this type of thing happens to you or anyone you care about in the future. They are not obeying their own laws. They are taking out personal vendettas as prosecutors and police. I've been asking for the jail cell footage since when? Through the Missouri Sunshine Law. You're supposed to be given this. Look, it's all over. Where is it? Here it is. July 15th. Motions. Formal request for police records, body camera footage of the cops while they were at the neighbor's house, not just mine. Request for jail surveillance footage. You're going to see everything I'm talking about proven in that footage. That was in July. It's now January. They won't give it to me in violation of the Missouri Sunshine Law because it has exculpatory evidence on it. They're committing war crimes, crimes against humanity. You can't torture people and freeze them out, lock off the food tray and freeze them out, not give them toilet paper, a blanket, a pillow, forcing them to sleep on hard metal 10 minutes at a time. They're shivering. They can't sleep. The footage of what they put me through in that jail cell for 3 days, that right now is the 1-year anniversary of, if any jury saw that, they'd be like, what the fuck are we doing in this country? How are these people getting away with this? They pinned him in the corner and threatened to cut off his clothes with a pair of scissors rather than allow him to lay down and go ragdoll limp so they could just take off all the clothes and put the new jail clothes on him. What are we doing here? And this arrest wasn't even legal? They're responsible for knowing that. And they did it anyway. Prosecutor and judge did it anyway. And they arrested me in an ambush and legally sexually assaulted me and did not allow me to call the number on the wall that says it is the number you call to report sexual assault in this jail. Like, this is why I don't even get mad about it. It's so blatantly obvious that the only verdict to find is not guilty, that I want you to write innocent. We don't find this person guilty or not guilty. We find them entirely innocent. Innocent of animal abuse. Innocent of being deserving to be in prison. Innocent of any justification for a no contact order. Or an arrest warrant. Completely innocent when you arrested him for showing up at the traffic hearing. But he had to leave it early to go to the dog attack hearing. He showed up at that earlier hearing for an hour and 15 minutes, but had to leave. And the judge didn't like it that he left and had him arrested again for a failure to appear charge when obviously he just appeared. And who arrested me for that? The dog attack judge, Sandcork. Johnson is his replacement. Sandcork was replaced by an order from the presiding judge with no reason given whatsoever within a week of me publishing the 3 hearings I paid for and published. This courthouse is as crooked as a question mark. It is corrupt to the core. From the presiding judge on down. This is happening with Johnson. Next door is Sandcork, removed from corruption. Next door to him is Judge Elvis, who just made international headlines and was forced to resign in shame. These are the only 3 judges on the floor. You're being called as a jury member for a case involving Johnson. It was Sandcourt. I don't know how to make short videos. I try to make short videos, 2, 3, 6 minutes here and there. I can't. One issue piles onto the other, piles onto the other, piles onto the other. And the judge is betting that the jury's not going to hear any of this. The judge doesn't want you, the jury, to hear any of this. He's going to prevent me from saying any of it, which is why I'm making this video and putting it on the channel. If the judge doesn't want you to hear facts, truth of events that happened, laws as they're written, what does that say? How do you convict somebody and vote guilty in such a system? Man. I've just accepted it all. Whatever comes. Hey, it's gonna come. I'm not gonna stop talking about this. Judge Johnson deserves to be arrested and put in prison immediately. Judge Sandcourt deserves to be arrested and put in prison immediately. The presiding judge who replaced one with the other, knowing that this illegal, according to your own rules, illegal prosecution and persecution, this unjust persecution would continue as designed. Presiding judge needs to be arrested and put in prison immediately. But it's not going to happen because jury members are afraid. They believe that the judge is more powerful than them and has authority over them, even though their vote is more powerful than the judge's. Vote innocent. It's beyond just being not guilty. I'm innocent of these legalized criminals, and I'm innocent of this illegitimate court system because of their refusal to answer one clarification I had so that I could be informed, so that I would then plead guilty, so that I would then pay the fine or do the time and leave with my freedom, so that the jury would never have to be called in the first place. The second half to that, to this case, the second half of your brain, and the analogy I used earlier, is coming up in part 2. This part, again, is just the facts of the case. The second part is going to have nothing to do with the facts of the case other than the challenge to jurisdiction that I bring up from day 1 to day now. If you paid your precious time and attention listening to this, I thank you.